Welcome to Schönbrunn Palace, the glorious summer residence of the Habsburg Emperors. Before the palace was covered in its famous Schönbrunn yellow over a century later, this front courtyard, the Grand Front, was where all of Europe's royalty and dignitaries would arrive. Stand here for a moment and you can almost hear the carriages pulling up. The sheer size of this palace was deliberately designed to project the immense power and stability of the monarchy. Today, it's our grand entrance to over 300 years of imperial history. Stepping inside, we move from the public facade to the interior political stage. This is the Hall of Ceremonies, once the great antechamber where Empress Maria Theresa would receive her most important guests under a grand canopy. Look at these incredible monumental paintings. They're not just decoration, they depict the 1760 wedding celebrations of her son, the future Emperor Joseph II. This room was a masterful piece of political theater, designed to show the world the grandeur and continuity of the Habsburg dynasty. Even a portrait of the Empress herself sits here, ready to receive visitors, forever preserved as the First Lady of Europe. If the Hall of Ceremonies was the political stage, the Great Gallery was the ballroom. At 43 meters long, this white and gold Rococo masterpiece was the epitome of courtly splendor. Imagine 140 candles lighting up those crystal mirrors for a ball. This is where power and diplomacy mixed under the guise of celebration. It was also the site of one of the 20th century's most important meetings, the 1961 summit between U.S. President John F. Kennedy and Soviet Premier Nikita Khrushchev. Now we leave the ceremonial wing and enter the more private world of Maria Theresa. In her time, rooms like this yellow salon or powder room were places for private audiences and daily routine. The yellow color scheme is much calmer than the ceremonial halls. Notice the portraits of children here, a glimpse into the Empress's family life. She had 16 children, and this room helps us see her not just as a ruler, but as a mother managing a huge family and an entire empire. Speaking of precious, this is the tiny but incredibly opulent Million Room, named for its supposed cost. The walls are paneled with rare rosewood inlaid with hundreds of priceless Indo-Persian miniatures, a true jewel box. Moving through the centuries, we enter the apartments of Empress Elisabeth, better known as Sisi. Her world was a stark contrast to Maria Theresa's. Her rooms reflect her unconventional nature, a private space for a deeply private empress. Unlike the stately court life, Sisi was known for her beauty, her passion for travel, and her resistance to the strict confines of the palace. And here we reach the end of an era. In this room, the Blue Chinese Salon, the last Habsburg Emperor, Charles I, signed his renunciation of government in 1918. A quiet moment in this beautifully decorated room that marked the dramatic collapse of a 640-year-old dynasty. Before we go, a moment of reflection in the palace church. This small, serene space was the spiritual heart of the palace, where the imperial family attended daily mass. No matter the political drama or the lavish balls, this was the private space for faith and contemplation. It reminds us that behind the yellow walls and the gold trim, these were still people seeking guidance and solace. It's a quiet contrast to the imperial splendor, and a beautiful place to end our formal tour. The history here is immense, but the quiet beauty of a space like this remains. Thank you so much for joining me on this tour of Schönbrunn Palace. It's truly a walk through history. If you enjoyed this imperial